Never miss a beat.
Covered it all in blood. Tell me why we wallow in the mud. Africa, Africa, Africa.
Now I want us to turn our attention
Mama Africa
to the issue of the yearly Bagre Dam spillage and all of the attendant problems.
Africa.
How do we end the cycle?
Africa.
Now, farmers and communities living along the White Volta River Basin are bracing themselves for the annual spillage of the Bagre and Kompienga dams in Burkina Faso,
Africa.
which begins today, Monday, August 25th, 2025. Now, this short notice has sparked fear and anxiety among the affected populations who are worried about the potential destruction of their crops and, of course, farm lands. Let's take a listen, though, to what is expected to happen today. You might recall that initially the spillage was scheduled for August 27th, 2025. That's on Wednesday. But sadly, the date was changed to August 25th. Take a listen.
Point 7 Urban Lifestyle Radio Station. 3FM 92.7 Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
Let's now go to the Upper East region, where community leaders in Pualugu have urged government to expedite the construction of the multi-purpose dam with no physical development after a colorful sword-cutting ceremony in November 2019. They contend the delay is also impacting agri productivity in the area. A report by Castro Senyala.
The multi-purpose project, estimated at $993 million, according to the government, will be the single largest investment ever made in the northern part of the country. But nearly 5 years after a colorful sword-cutting ceremony, no major work has been done, as the contractor has abandoned the project sites at Krugu, Kubeyu, and Sariba. Heavy-duty equipment and other building materials, which were kept at a temporary camp, have all been moved out of the sites. Assemblyman for Pualugu, Moses Adongo, and his predecessor, Paul Abba, noted the government's delay in kickstarting the project is impacting negatively on agricultural production in the regions.
Pualugu Dam started not today, but during Nkrumah's era. And it was for that reason that the tomato factory was put up at Pualugu, so that when the dam is constructed, whatever produce that we get, they can feed the factory. But the failure of the dam to get constructed actually has dampened the spirits of the people.
The name Pualugu is only mentioned, but nothing is showing that there's a dam. And I don't know when the dam will be constructed. A lot of people gave out to farm due to the multi-purpose, and they left their farms. And now they are under distress, because you have no food. You didn't farm, saying that they are coming to construct a dam.
They requested government to address the difficulties that have held back the project. The Upper East Regional Minister, Stephen Yakubu, said government has secured funding and the project is expected to start soon.
It's a project that we all know was going to cost us about $1 billion. And we all know the current situation of the country in terms of getting this $1 billion in building this. As I speak with you, funding has been acquired, and we are going to start building the solar part of the dam.
The minister stated that the project was a top priority for the government and everything was being done to ensure its smooth implementation.
I will tell the entire Ghanaians that government has not abandoned the Pualugu Dam, because it's very dear to the heart of government. And government is doing everything in its power to make sure that the dream is realized.
When completed, the dam is expected to store excess water for agricultural activities, generation of electricity, and control the perennial flooding in the 5 northern regions caused by heavy rains and the spillage of the Bagre Dam in neighboring Burkina Faso.
All right, and that was a report there filed by my colleague, Castro Sengela. He's on the phone lines right about now. We'll connect with him. Castro, hello, good morning. Hope you're well.
Yes, good morning, Helen. I'm doing well.
Thank you so much for joining us on the program. We're talking about the yearly Bagre Dam spillage, and we were just listening there to that report there on the Pualugu multi-purpose dam. What is the update?
Yes, Helen, nothing much has happened at the site of the dam except that the entire place is taken over by weeds, and in fact, overgrown weeds. The last time I visited there was earlier this year when I was passing through Kurugu, where it is located, and I can report that as we speak now, there's nothing there. In fact, some of the items that had been left, initially the contractor took some of the equipment out and left some, and as we speak now, all the equipment have been taken. When you get to the site, what you see are bricks and then some sand and stone chippings that had been poured there by the contractor for some works. Aside from that, there is nothing there that even shows that this is where the dump was supposed to be located. Everything has been packed out. There's no one there. There's no trace of the dump. And it's where the basin actually where the dump was supposed to be sunk is were taken by grown weeds and nothing much. Even if you go there, it don't take time. You'll be bitten by reptiles.
My goodness. So the conclusion is no updates, nothing to see, no equipment, barren land. Now, we know that there is the spillage of the Bagre Dam is expected to start today, some 48 hours ahead of what was initially scheduled for the 27th of August. What has been the reaction of local residents to this news?
Helen, this issue of spillage from the Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso is a conversation that reoccurs or comes into the discussion almost every year. And so this year is not different. The farmers, in fact, are now beginning to see how best they can learn to live with the spillage. And in that, whenever it is time and they plant their crops, what they do is that once they get their alert that the spillage will take place, the farmers quickly move to their farms, which are close by the White Lake, and then begin to pick whatever they can get and take home. Additionally, in addition to warnings from the NADMO and other local authorities for them to move to higher grounds, these people, the community members or residents around the White Volta would usually quickly, move to higher grounds because it appears that there hasn't been any particular intervention that will be able to take care of the situation once and for all. And for them, they saw that the coming in of the Pualugu multipurpose dam was the panacea to all of these problems. But unfortunately, that hasn't come to fruition. And so the people are reacting the same way they've reacted over the years. There isn't much panic except those who are able to quickly harvest their crops along the White Volta. But for those who have been able to quickly harvest, plant earlier and have been able to harvest it, they have moved to higher grounds and preventing as much as possible any crisis that will arise from all of this because they are not new to this. Right. Except that the calls continue. The calls continue. Yesterday, I was at the Pualugu dam, Pualugu, where I interacted with some farmers, and the understanding I get is that they are not happy. They are disappointed in the governments that have come to pass, in the sense that they have promised them a dam that was not only going to solve the water, the perennial water issue, spillage issues, but also become a source of irrigable water for dry season farming, which would indirectly or directly, in a way, help in rejuvenating the Pualugu tomatoes factory that has been lying dead for the past years. And so for them, they don't think it's right. And so I think earlier this year, when the new government was sworn in, the Peasant Farmers Association were the first to call on the government of President John Dramani Mahama to look into the issue of the Pualugu multipurpose dam. They made it very clear that it was going to be, a huge, or when the dam is built, it would be a huge facility for the northern part of the country. And so they think that the current government should look into the expenditure or whatever that was spent as far as getting the dam sunk is concerned, and also where applicable, punish those who have been said to have spent monies inappropriately, and also of the fact that the government needed to prioritize the construction and make sure they give it to the people if the other government was not able to do that. And Helen, let me quickly put this straight before I forget. If the dam is constructed, it is not only going to serve the people of the Upper East Region and Northeast Region alone. It will also serve other regions like the Northern Region, the Upper West Region, and even the Savannah Region, in the sense that whenever the water is spilled from Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso, the spillage does not only affect residents of the Upper East Region and Northeast Region. It goes a long way to affect almost all communities and then regions that the white water passes through. And this tells you that if the Polgo Dam is constructed, it is not only going to help these two regions, but the entirety of the northern part of the country. And that is the reason why residents are not really happy about the approach to issues as far as its construction is concerned.
Some good education there for those who think that the issues are relegated to that particular region alone. As far as the spillage is concerned, what are the main challenges, would you say, in disseminating timely warnings to these affected communities?
Yes. So the main challenges, first and foremost, is the fact that usually, the people have now been awoken to the reality on the ground, so people don't even settle close by. But sometimes when the spillage is so huge, some of the water runs into the homes of people, and that is why the local authorities led by NADMO have always been very clear and loud on the fact that residents should move to higher grounds, and that would mean abandoning their homes where they've been living or staying for some time. Once the spillage starts, they have to leave. So as I speak now, this morning, a lot of people who are living close by the White Lake would have to leave park. Sometimes people live as far as 500 meters away, but the spillage can sometimes be so huge that it goes beyond that 500 buffer zone, and that would mean entering people's houses. In the past, we've had incidents where reptiles, such as crocodiles, which are, carried by these flood waters, end up in the homes of residents who have even moved far away, and that goes to tell you that it's a big issue. Additionally, not all farmers have the same financial strength to start their farm projects or their farming at the same time, and so there are usually farmers who start very late, hoping to reap whatever they've sown early before the flood waters are open. But unfortunately, these farmers get their produce caught up in the flooding, and there's nothing they can do about it. Over the years, farmers have lost particularly tons and tons of maize that are being planted along the white water. Maize is a staple crop here in this part of the country.
Indeed.
And so this tells you how much of loss or concerns the issue of all the surrounding this dam issue is concerned. And yes, NADMO continues to do its best. And lately, the VRA and NETCO have also joined in once in a while to draw the attention of the people of the fact that it's important for them to get early warning signs. And so usually when Sonabel, the Burkinabe power producer, is about to spill, to save their dam from collapse, what they do is that they transmit wireless messages received by local authorities here, who then disseminate to the residents, usually with the help of social media and then traditional media like radio stations within the Upper East region.
Certainly, Castro, thank you for that. Hold on for me. Let's also connect now with the Upper East Regional Minister, Donatus Atanga. Honorable, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us on the program. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well. I hope you are also doing well with my listeners.
Yes, we're doing fantastic. Yeah. Although we know that that time has rolled around again. The Bagre Dam spillage is high up on our agenda this morning. We want to find out what immediate steps your office has taken in response to the 2025 Bagre Dam spillage. We were told that it was to happen on Wednesday, but it's happening much sooner than that.
Yeah, really, it is just a fact that we're informed that it was supposed to be done on Wednesday. To our surprise, we had the information that because of the high rise of the water level beyond the capacity of the dam, they have brought it back, the gate back to today. And so we quickly, as Disaster Management Committee, which I'm the chair, we quickly sent our NADMO officers and the other assemblymen and the community members to sensitize the people along the bank, the White Volta Bank, so that they can move to higher lands, so that when they spill, they themselves, the properties will not be, those that are movable, to pick them out so that they will not be submerged under the water. So we have taken all those necessary steps. We have also written to NADMO to get ready with some items like mattresses, and then the other items, welcome boots and the rest,
Right.
so that in the event that these things are needed, we'll quickly respond to them. That's what we are doing for now.
Certainly. And how effective have public sensitization campaigns been? And are there any improvements that are planned?
Well, I think that there is an improvement. The only problem that we normally have is that because farmers, because of the nature of the soil there, the communities will continue to plow the land there because of the alluvial soil. They thought the soil is rich, and so they normally more or less try to go and cultivate, hoping against hopes that the flooding will not be so much, so that they'll be able to gather bumper harvest. And so because some years the spillage is not always so much that it will submerge the crops, people took advantage of that and they continue to be farming there. What we are looking at is how do we encourage people to move away from the close river banks to the inner land for them to be able to do cropping. And this year, after John Mahama had taken over the reins of the country, the northern sector MPs and the northern sector regional ministers have had, with our political appointees, have had a meeting, and then we are looking at the possibility of making sure that before we can take the long-term project of the multi-purpose dam to address this issue, we bring in some small-scale irrigation projects that will draw the farmers away from the bank so that we'll be able to address this issue. That's what we're working on.
Certainly. Now, of course, whenever the year rolls around and we talk about the Bagre Dam spillage, the conversation about long-term infrastructure projects cannot be ignored. My colleague Castro, who reports from your region, says farmers are continuously asking Pwalugu multi-purpose dam, what is going to happen and what are the plans to ensure that this becomes a topic of the past?
The multi-purpose dam project is going to come on as promised in the NDC manifesto for the resetting Ghana. But what we, the Northern Sector Caucus, is trying to do is to come in with the medium-term response to this issue. That is why the Northern Caucus, made up of the honorable members of parliament, the regional ministers, and the other political appointees, have put their heads together. As of now, we are doing a data collection, and then we are identifying irrigable lands. We are identifying the type of crops that can grow in each of the areas, and so that we can introduce something like hand pumps. We can introduce solar system, mechanical systems to be able to start while we are waiting for the heavy. You know, the funding of the multi-purpose dam is huge. It's about $990 million. And so that one, government will come in with a big push so that we see, and then other partnership so that we'll be able to carry out that one. But immediately, we are looking at the shortest possible time, what we can do so that we'll be doing the medium term while waiting for the long-term solution.
Now, you talked about, shall I call it a coalition of northern regional ministers. I know it's not just your region that is affected. So can you clarify which other regions that you are collaborating with, especially as you talk about a medium-term solution to this problem?
Yeah, as a part of resetting, and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's government has taken the steps that we want to modernize this country through agriculture. And so, and the northern sector is a basket of food production. And so, therefore, We have the northeast, we have the northern region, we have the Savannah, we have the upper west and the upper east regional ministers, and all the members of parliament from these constituencies or districts together with the government appointees from them. We have put up ourselves as a northern caucus and to address this perennial flooding, and then to see how we can introduce some small-scale irrigations to respond to the immediate needs.
Honorable.
I'm online.
Okay. Apologies. I thought we had lost you there. You were just outlining for us those measures. But also, we've seen in some publications that persons had lost their lives due to the spillage. Are these accounts accurate?
Well, as I've come into the office, they are yet to spill, and that is supposed to take place today.
Right.
So, once it's going to take place today, I'm taking some steps to ensure that people are evacuated, people are moved to the higher lands, so that the flooding cannot affect them. And so, unless they open the floodgates, I will not be able to determine whether lives will be taken or not. But I hope the work that we have put in place, nobody will be caught up in that mess.
All right. So as it stands now, the spillage is not yet in progress. Is that correct?
Yes, it's not yet in progress.
Okay.
It's supposed to start today.
Because the News Center newspaper this morning had this on the front page. Bagre Dam spillage, 81 people dead, 120,000 lives displaced, 76,000 farms lost.
Probably that may be a projection, or maybe it is out of, it's not in this region yet, because the split is supposed to start today. So I haven't had any data on that yet.
All right. Well, that's something that I'm sure we'll be able to get further and better particulars on as the day goes. As the day goes, most certainly.
We'll try to put our house in order and to respond.
Right. Now, I wanted to ask also about specific legislative or funding support that you require from central government to resolve these issues, to talk about the medium-term issues. But clarify for us, as far as the multipurpose dam is concerned, how soon can this intervention be completed?
Well, I will not be in position to hazard the period, because once the government has taken over, environmental assessment and all that has been done since 2013. And then when the previous government came in, they said we're going to start. So now that we've come and we've taken over. And so the government will have to put the house in order to be able to determine when to complete. So I cannot hazard that until the government is clear, in that direction as to when we can conclude.
Are there any discussions about construction more local dams then to capture excess water before it causes harm, even beyond
exactly.
that?
That is what I'm talking about. The fact that the Northern Caucus is designing a scheme where we will be constructing this small irrigation projects where we will draw water and then be able to irrigate our lands and then to embark on farming. Before we finally actualize the long-term project. And so we are taking all this into consideration as a Northern Caucus. And we are doing this in partnership with the private organizations. And so when we finish, we'll roll out the program, we'll serve you copies so that you know how we are dealing with it.
Certainly, Honourable. We'll be waiting for that with bated breath. Thank you so much for your time this morning. I know you have a busy morning ahead, and we'll be looking forward to updates.
For the platform.
Certainly.
Yeah.
All right, and that was the Upper East Regional Minister, Honourable Donatus Atanga. Castro Sengela, my colleague, is still on the line. Castro.
Yes, Helen.
Yes. I wanted to ask and pick your thoughts on this particular issue of any misconceptions or myths in the local communities regarding the dam spillage that might need addressing.
Not at all. There aren't any of such, except what the regional minister stated clearly. The land, close to the white water are usually seen as very fertile lands, because of the manner in which the water moves debris of trees and grasses, dried grasses, and then they rot by just on the riverbank. It makes the soil around there very loose and fertile. And so usually when the rains set in, and the farmers use those lands just by the white water to grow some crops, because they know that the soil is fertile and they'll be able to harvest greatly, will have a great deal of harvest. They don't want to move away or to the inner part of the communities where they can site their farms. And this is the problem. They put the crops there, they sow the crops, and then by the time that they will harvest, especially those who are not able to plant early, the flood comes and then there are issues. But let me please state this, that there's something people are not understanding, and I haven't worked with the NADMO, haven't had the opportunity of speaking to people at Sonabel. The water is released from the Bagre Dam. It just doesn't arrive the same time or in a minute or in an hour or so.
Right.
Sometimes depending on how much of power, much of water is gushing out of the outlets, that will determine when it will arrive in Ghana. Sometimes it can take days, other times it takes, let's say, 12 hours, 16 hours, sometimes 20 hours before it arrives in Ghanaian communities. So that's also one thing that, we should let listeners understand.
Very good education there, because I think like you said, the thinking is that as soon as we hear of a spillage, it's almost as if a tap is turned on, and then within a few minutes or so, you have the water gushing. But you say it could even take up to a day for that impact to really be felt. Maybe the reason why some farmers will take the chance of potentially, planting so close to the riverbanks, because they are banking on having some time to at least harvest before there's major damage done. Right. I also wanted to find out, Castro, what the level of collaboration between local journalists like yourself and the authorities, looks like during emergencies such as this.
So in the past, the collaborations have been very good, especially when it comes to sensitization or educating the public and using the media as a tool. There are collaborations usually there. Like the regional minister said, the spillage for this year is yet to come, and so we monitor to see what happens. But already the NADMO has put out numbers that and are encouraging the public to call, and the media is included, to call for any form of information. And I think that is a good start. And we're hoping to see whether they will take some of us to these interventions that the regional minister spoke about, where they have appealed for mattresses and other relief items. And we are hoping that when they come and the damage is felt and they are putting in these interventions, the media is involved so that we work with them throughout the process.
Certainly, Castro, thank you so much for your time this morning and for speaking with us and giving us some much-needed education on this Bagre Dam spillage.
Thank you very much, Joe.
That was my colleague, Castro Sengela. He's our Upper East correspondent. Let's also connect now with Moses Adongo. He's a farmer, also the Pualugu Assembly man. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you so much.
Madam.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Hope you're doing well.
We are on the way to the farmlands to harvest our maize.
Okay, so as we speak, you say you are on your way to go and harvest the maize. I wanted to find... Right.
Yes, please.
Yes, I wanted to find out from you how the yearly Bagre Dam spillage has personally affected your farm as well as the community.
Many thousands, hundreds of people have been affected by the Bagre Dams. Since from 1994, almost yearly it is around this time, 18th to 24th August, they always split the water. And it affects a lot from the whole Policy district, even from up to the Ndiri district. On the water lane, it affects a lot of farmers. This is the time the maize are getting ripe. Some are not ripe yet. They have opened the water. Anytime they open it, then we are in danger. So we are appealing to government to see if they can construct the multipurpose dam, as well as communicate with the Bagre people to always start splitting it from June, small, so that responsibly, so that it will not affect us. Every year it affects those of us at the water basin.
And what crops do you and other local farmers typically lose due to the floodwaters each year?
Maize.
Okay, maize.
Watermelon, yellow melon, rice, all the local minerals that we use for household. So it comes to affect hundreds of people's farmland, not hundreds of people on the water basin land. So now everybody is running to the water side to see, hiring people to see whether those maize that are ripe, they can harvest it.
And how are local farmers adapting their planting schedules in response to these unpredictable flood events? Because we were told it was supposed to happen on Wednesday. Now you quickly have to rush to the farm and try and harvest by Monday. What are the plans that farmers have to try and mitigate this yearly issue?
Well, for the farmers at this Bagre basin, we don't have any control. The other thing is because we have late rain. If the rain starts on May, let's say 15 May, by this time, many would have harvested. But the rain comes at 15 June. When you look at 15 June, July, August, it is not beyond 3 months. May takes 75 days to 90 days. So everybody, when you look at the road here, everybody is running to the riverside because we are told it was going to be open on Wednesday. And people say if they open on Wednesday, 3 days and Saturday, it will reach here. Now they are saying today, already the basin is already full. So it's now going all to the farmland. So we have no control. We are always pleading with the authorities that they should speak with the Burkina so that if they know that at this yearly issue, they should start splitting it on June, July. Then August, it will not be as it always comes at once. 1 week, it has come to spoil a lot of farmland and putting us at a disadvantage.
And what would you say is the greatest challenge when it comes to achieving long-term resolution to this issue? You are the assemblyman in Pwalugu. We talk about the Pwalugu multi-purpose dam. That's now currently on hold. No action going on.
That is why we are appealing. That is why we are appealing to government. If that one counts and cannot control it, it will minimize it a little, and it will also help in electricity and dry season farming. If the water is blocked, and you can also harvest it for the dry season farming, it will be helpful to us. But all we are saying is we are appealing to government to see whether we can go into it. This one was put down somewhere in 1954 onwards to today. So we are pleading with government to see if they can get it started. Then it will at least reduce the impact of the Bagre dam spillage on us.
Now, we were just speaking with the Upper East Regional Minister, Honorable Atanga. He talks about medium-term solutions to this problem. If he had your ear this morning, what would you be suggesting to him to help mitigate or alleviate some of these problems?
The medium term will only be to get to Burkina Bay so that they will start to split it responsibly. Earlier in June, the split is small. July, the split is small. Then at this time, the split is small. So that can be the medium term that can assist. So whatever, when it happens, so it means that the water will come, but it will not flood the farmland. It may enter a little onto the crops, and those standing upright like maize and other things may not be totally condemned or taken over by the water. That will be the medium term. Communication with the Bagre dam people to start splitting from June.
Certainly.
So that when it comes, the water will remain on the river alone.
Some good suggestions there. Could help in the medium term. Certainly, Moses, thank you so much for your time this morning, for speaking with us about the realities of what goes on the ground. Moses Adongo is a farmer, also the assemblyman in Pualugu. He says that the Pualugu Dam, multi-purpose dam, needs to be completed as a matter of urgency. But in the medium term, he says that we need to liaise better with Burkina Faso and get some different timelines as far as the Bagre Dam spillage is concerned. Of course, spillage is starting today, and we'll be keeping our eyes and ears on the ground, keeping you up to speed on what's happening. Time check. It is some 18 minutes to the top of the hour, 9 a.m. This is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. We pause now for a quick break. When we come back, we have education high up on the radar. Don't go too far.